So in this lesson, I'm going to show you some examples of A/B testing. There are some quite famous A/B testing examples in common circulation, and there are some good blogs, including the one produced by optimizely.com, an app we're going to come on to in a later lesson, with some really good examples. However, I would give a kind of warning about something sort of termed survivorship bias, i.e. these examples are always examples which had winners and had, the results were good. It's like hearing from lottery winners rather than the millions of people who lost. So you don't tend to hear about all the tests that fail. You will maybe hear a few here and there. There might be some examples, but probably a lot fail. And you've just got to be aware that we're only hearing about the really good examples. So the Obama campaigns of both 2008 and 2012 have become this kind of flagship example of how A/B testing has won. It's been really well publicized. And this example, on the left we're seeing how the campaign started, and on the right we're seeing how after a load of tests are carried out, well actually they did multivariate testing on this. So they were testing 4 different buttons, 6 different types of media. So there's a lot of different combinations, so 24 different combinations all in all, which of course needs an awful lot of traffic, as I said in my last lesson, to actually start getting statistically significant results. So the best performing combination of the button, the text of the button, and the media, the image in the end rather than a video, was this one on the right. And according to their data, they had a sign-up rate of 11.6% more than the one on the left. So in their maths, they've worked that out at a 40.6% increase in sign-up rate. And this, they claim, has raised over $60 million, or the increase in click rate has raised $60 million more. So it's a compelling argument to say that this might be so high because the people who are most likely to donate and donate the largest amounts were probably the ones who are most likely to sign up regardless of what the image and the button text actually said. So, although I'm pretty sure it had a positive impact, because to me the right hand is kind of more, it's just more appealing, and it's a very different message, family and learning more rather than signing up, which has got negative connotations to newsletters and being bombarded with junk. So I think they are very different, but whether it's had quite the impact that they claim is another matter. So they did the same in 2012. By 2012, optimization, this had been proven in the previous campaign, so now they were at it, guns blazing. They performed over 500 A/B tests during this campaign, overall in a sort of 20-month period. They didn't do multivariate testing now, which is quite interesting. This actually appeared on the Optimizely blog. Which is an A/B testing platform, so maybe that's why. But this is on the left. We see how this particular form started, and on the right we see the result. So overall, through their testing, they say they've increased donation conversions by 49% and sign-up conversions by over 161%, which is very compelling. And looking at these 2 examples here, to me, I've got used to looking at this kind of example on the right. I work with a lot of charities, giving sites. So to me, the form on the left does a lot of things wrong because you're asking for too much information in one go, rather than focusing people on getting started in the process and being comfortable with the amount they're going to give. So yeah, I can fully accept that the version on the right is a lot better than the version on the left, but it's great, excellent that A/B testing has shown you the two examples and shown you data and given you hard evidence that this is actually performing better. Okay, so another example, just want to quickly cover this, a site called VeggieTales. They cover, it's a children's computer animated film site, a big e-commerce site selling products based on the series. They used a lot of A/B testing using Optimizely again, the platform we're going to cover later. So there's some stats there, the kind of thing they've managed to do by testing and changing and tweaking what they're showing visitors. So they've increased their revenue per visitor of 38% and site-wide conversion generally up by 42%. I won't break down all those figures there, but that's just showing you, the pages I'm going to show you are some of the key pages where they've got these increases in sort of visitor interaction and completion rates. So this page, a product category page, they tested the banner version on the left above the products, and then on the right the same thing, but taking that banner away and just getting straight into the products, so no distractions. And testing this without the banner, category pages were producing a sort of over a 17.5% increase in people actually clicking and buying. This page, this is a product detail page. The difference between the two, on the left, the control has the related products area on the right, and on the testing version on the right that they ended up with, you see it's gone. And yeah, that clears up the interface and it takes away distraction, so focusing people on the product. I can fully understand how that has kind of won, and they've come out with a sort of 14% increase. The actual checkout they also tested, and this is something I've heard a lot about checkouts, and it's something we always do, and that's just removing the navigation. So the test version on the right doesn't have any navigation for the site. It's taken away distractions, so the toolbar at the top, the main nav and the search bar have all gone, and it's just really focusing people on getting through the checkout rather than disappearing and bouncing away somewhere else. So they claim to have increased return per visitor by sort of 14.5% just by doing that. So people are actually going down the e-commerce funnel. So my personal experience of A/B testing, I've done a lot of A/B testing, and a lot of it has been about decision making and debate solving, which I mentioned previously. And a lot of that has been, a lot of what we've seen in these previous examples is how A/B testing leads to best practice. So things like decluttering your product pages, your landing pages, and focusing people on the tasks in hand. And as we saw on the e-commerce example, removing distractions that will take people away from completing their key objectives. So these tests have been going on throughout the years, and we've got decisions made based on testing that have led to best practice in the industry. So A/B testing, I think it's been there a lot, and it's helped guide us all really, even if we haven't been directly involved in doing it. So I've done a lot of tests on information architectural labeling, trying to solve debates over color, and sometimes I've done this with preference tests, which are a kind of A/B test. You just ask a large audience, which do you prefer, rather than presenting a random option to the live user, just asking an audience which they prefer, what do they expect when they click on that particular label. It's been quite useful as well. And A/B testing, it kind of avoids and averts derailment of a whole project because of some issue. The phrase "we can test it once it's live and see which performs better" has been really useful to just stop projects coming off the rails and bottlenecks forming, and it helps you get past those things. And having testing data to back up decisions is just really brilliant, and it's hard to actually dispute some of these the results from tests because you've actually got hard data, and anybody who's arguing against it has a hard time actually coming up with anything to disprove that data. You've got empirical evidence, if you like. So there are websites out there which give you a bit of prior knowledge a site such as whichtest1.com has compiled a lot of A/B tests and the tests involved and the outcomes, and you might find this useful to delve in and actually have a look to see what other people have been doing and what the outcomes were. Now, whether you'd want to actually use that instead of testing, I don't think so, because what works in one place just may not work elsewhere. Because it happens somewhere else doesn't mean it's going to happen for you or for your particular site, which has got a different set of criteria and a different audience, most likely. But some principles are sort of generally sound, like we saw with simplifying the form on the Obama campaign, changing the key message, reducing clutter and distraction from product pages and checkout pages. There are sort of principles which, as I mentioned in the last slide, become best practice, which you might be able to draw from tests and sites like this to guide you on your way. Okay, so in the next lesson, we're going to prepare for testing and get on our way.